Welcome and greetings from IFS. We are pleased to present this video to inform you about the IFS PACsecure version 2 standard and the updates from version 1.1. Here we will provide a quick overview of the review process, present changes from version 1.1, explain the doctrine, and outline the supportive documents, tools, and services to help with implementation. IFS is committed to keeping its standards current via periodic reviews with the input of technical working groups from across the supply chain. Meeting with different companies from various regions allows us to uncover concerns and meet the expectations of our main users. It also gives us an opportunity to share and discuss the different points of view and realities from our stakeholders. The result is version 2, thanks to the hard work and diligence of the working group members and IFS Standard Manager Daniela Pobleti. We are delighted to report that version 2 has already gained recognition against the current GFSI benchmarking requirements. Assessments to version 2 are possible from January 3, 2022. Both version 1.1 and version 2 assessments will be accepted until May 2nd, and then from May 3rd on, only version 2 will be applicable. IFS PACsecure version 2 reflects updates to meet the ever-changing needs of the market and our stakeholders. The following presentation gives a brief overview of the important changes from version 1.1.
The key features of version 2 include the use of the word assessment instead of audit, improvements of the IFS PACsecure certification protocol structure to understand the complete assessment process, an expansion in the range of products covered by the assessment scope and addition of one product scope, clarifications on outsourced processes and management of different types of production sites, mandatory and announced assessment every 3 years, new rules to increase or decrease the minimum assessment duration, modifications in the scoring system and the management of deviations and nonconformities in the action plan, clear and suitable requirements applicable for all types of packaging. The word audit was replaced by assessment, as the IFS assessments encompass audit and inspection techniques. These are applied alternately to evaluate the processing activities and the products coming from those processes to ensure they are safe, meet legal requirements, and are compliant with customer specifications. This includes product tracing, on-site observations, site inspections, and face-to-face interviews. The IFS assessment follows an assessment trail. The assessment trail is a uniform path the auditor must follow by choosing relevant samples, performing an on-site evaluation, and a documentation and record review. In version 2, at least 50% of the total assessment duration must be allocated to the on-site evaluation to allow sufficient time to comprehensively audit and inspect the products and the processes. This way, the IFS assessment assures that IFS certified companies deliver trusted products. The IFS PACsecure assessment scope now includes a comprehensive description of all types of packaging components and packaging materials covered by the IFS PACsecure certification. Also, we have expanded the scope to include secondary packaging for specific medical devices and OTC products. In the IFS PACsecure standard, you will find additional relevant information about the assessment scope. To meet the market needs, we have included a new product scope called Other Packaging Components. This scope contains materials such as inks, adhesive, coatings, among others. In some cases, these packaging components are in direct contact with products and may affect product safety and quality. A typical example is the sticker stuck on products, where the adhesive is in direct contact with them. In addition, we have added a clarification about how to assess multi-component packaging materials. Lastly, we have created a chart with examples of each product scope. The chart is available for download on the IFS Packaging website. Regarding the IFS scoring system, the BE score is no longer a deviation. It is a point of attention, which means the requirement complies, but a situation observed during the assessment could lead to a future deviation or nonconformity in the event of problems. The intention is to give the business a hint to monitor the requirement. This way, the company can avoid a deviation or even a nonconformity in future. A point of attention is not a deviation. Therefore, corrections or corrective actions are not requested and is not meant to recommend specific solutions or improvements. In the case of the action plan, the company must provide corrections and corrective action for deviations and nonconformities, and the responsibilities and implementation deadlines for correction and corrective actions. Together with the action plan, the company now must send evidence that corrections have been closed. About Part 2, the list of assessment requirements, the working group reviewed each requirement of version 1.1 and its related guidance to ensure the requirements of the new version are clear, suitable, and updated in terms of the wording, concept, and applicability. In addition, the content was revised to avoid duplicated topics, strengthen the quality aspect, and align the requirements to meet current IFS and GFSI requirements. A significant change was replacing the term packaging material with product, recognizing that the industry supplier produces products to be used for packaging. Here's an example of changes made in version 2. You can see there is more explanation added to the requirement and the guidance. The purpose of the guidance is to help companies and auditors to interpret the requirements. Hence, its content is not mandatory. The guidance consists of a list of questions for each requirement that provides the general approach to what is expected. However, each company must reflect on the purpose of the requirement and determine how to implement them according to each site's situation, processes, and products. The auditor has to adapt the assessment to the situation of each site. Therefore, it's not expected that the auditor applies the same questions. This is a quick overview of relevant changes. In Chapter 1, product safety culture is now included in the policy. Companies must now inform the certification bodies about recalls and legal issues. Instead of a procedure, the company must implement a process to identify the needs and expectations of customers. The outputs of management review must have a clear actions aimed at supporting improvement. In Chapter 2, there were relevant changes in the hazard analysis and risk assessment system to allow companies to develop a holistic approach. Some of these changes are the description of the intended use by consumers in specific cases, the inclusion of allergens and radiological hazards. The term control points was replaced by other control measures. The term critical control points, or CCPs, was added, and new requirements related to the determination, limits, and monitoring of CCPs. This last one is also a new knockout or KO requirement. Finally, if loss of control is related to product safety, the company must identify the root cause. In Chapter 3, responsibilities and competencies were clarified. The requirements for personal hygiene were adjusted, and we included a list of topics to consider in training programs. In Chapter 4, new topics were added such as printing activities, outsourced processes, and claims, and new requirements in pest control, foreign material, traceability, and product fraud. An allergen management plan must be developed to identify all possible sources and to mitigate the related risks. In Chapter 5, the validation and control of the process and work environment was enhanced with clear, easy to understand, and relevant requirements for the packaging industry. Requirements related to product analysis and testing plans were updated. Included now is inspection equipment in measuring and monitoring devices. The management of raw materials complaints by company to its suppliers was also added. For corrective actions, the company now must document the root cause analysis when related to product safety. The glossary is an essential tool to understand the terms in the standard and help with the interpretation of requirements. Here in the slide, you can see some examples of the new and updated terms, as well as those terms added from the IFS PACsecure version 1.1 doctrine. The IFS PACsecure standard is accompanied by another normative document, the IFS PACsecure doctrine, which provides additional rules and clarifications on the IFS PACsecure standard. Both documents shall be implemented following the defined date of implementation after publication.
We sincerely hope this brief overview gives you a clear sense of the updates in version 2. To access additional details, we direct you to the IFS PACsecure website at ifs-packaging.com. Here you will find the following valuable information. The Path to Certification page outlines the steps to certification, and here you can download the IFS PACsecure version 2 standard and the doctrine. Under Training and Tools, we have numerous resources. 2 additional tools are also now available and can be downloaded from this page. These are the comparison of requirements between version 1.1 and version 2, and a checklist to execute internal audits. On the IFS Partners page, you will find auditing service providers, recognized IFS consultants, and IFS training centers. The news page contains past newsletters and helpful articles. And lastly, under the Contact tab, you will find contact information for IFS technical representatives. Please stay in touch by following us on LinkedIn and subscribing to the newsletter. If you have questions, do not hesitate to reach out to us at packaging@ifs-certification.com.